Stop! Before you scroll past this, I need you to think about something. You have probably seen Peppa Pig, maybe hundreds of times, maybe more than that. And at no point, not once, did anyone sit you down and tell you what was actually happening in that show. Nobody warned you. Nobody said, look closer. Everyone just let you watch it and move on with your life. That ends today, because I have watched it closely, frame by frame, episode by episode. And what I found is going to make it very difficult for you to watch this show the same way ever again. Let's start with Daddy Pig, because Daddy Pig is where most of the problems begin.
Hey, what?
And honestly, where most of them end too, in the fitness episode. And if you have spent any time around a child under the age of 7, you have seen the fitness episode. The very opening scene shows Daddy Pig walking across the living room floor, just walking, and the entire house shakes.
I love watching telly.
You can see the vibrations, the floor trembles, the walls react. The animation goes out of its way to show you that this man's footsteps carry the kind of gravitational consequence usually associated with a small earthquake. We accept the premise. But then, not even 3 minutes later, in that same episode, Daddy Pig gets down on the floor and starts doing press-ups. And the floor does absolutely nothing. No shaking, no trembling, no vibrations. He is now pressing his entire body weight down onto that same floor, repeatedly, and the house does not react at all. The floor that could not survive him walking across it is now completely unbothered by him doing full press-ups directly on top of it. And nobody on the production team watched this back and thought, wait, hold on, that does not add up. They just sent it out into the world for children to watch. And speaking of that episode, let us stay there for just another moment because it genuinely keeps giving. Daddy Pig finds an old exercise bike somewhere in the house. We never see where it comes from, it just appears, which is its own issue. And he decides he is going to cycle while watching television at the same time.
I'll be able to cycle and watch TV at the same time.
Perfectly reasonable. A man multitasking. We respect it. Except when the camera cuts to show him cycling, the television is not playing a television program. It is showing a ship, a still image of a ship, floating, silent, no context, no channel ident, no explanation of any kind, just a ship on the screen. And Daddy Pig is pedaling away, completely at peace with this, until he tells Peppa that he cannot hear the TV.
Oh, this bike is too noisy. I can't hear the TV.
Of course he cannot hear it. It is a picture of a ship. It is not producing sound. It has never produced sound. It is a photograph of a vessel. But more importantly, why is he watching it? What does he think is happening on that screen? What program does he believe he's put on? These are questions the show raises and then simply walks away from, leaving them sitting there, unanswered, next to the ship. Now here is where it starts to get genuinely strange. Because the problems in this show are not just limited to Daddy Pig, as easy as it would be to pin everything on him. The physics of this entire world are wrong. Not slightly wrong. Not off by a little bit. Fundamentally, categorically, irreversibly wrong. In one episode, there is a piece of potato sitting on the edge of a cutting board. The potato is tilted. It is balanced at an angle that should not be possible. By every law of gravity we have ever been taught that potato should fall. It is past the point of no return. It is dangling, and it does not fall. It stays exactly where it is for the entire shot, completely indifferent to the miracle occurring 2 feet away from them. Meanwhile, in a completely different episode, a bicycle with stabilizers. Stabilizers, the whole point of which is to stop a bike from falling over, just falls over. Nothing touches it. No wind. No bump, no external force of any kind. It simply decides to fall, and it falls. So we have a potato that defies gravity and a stabilized bike that surrenders to it for no reason. That is the physics engine running underneath this show. Random, selective, completely detached from anything resembling the real world. The water drops might be the most quietly unsettling example of all of this. In one of the kitchen scenes, George spills something near the counter, and you can actually watch the water falling. It leaves the counter. It begins its descent toward the floor, and then it disappears. Not splash, not land. Disappear. The water drops stop existing before they reach the ground. They simply cease to be. And Mommy Pig does not look down. George does not look confused. Nobody marks the moment in any way. Water fell, water vanished, life continues. In the real world, when you spill water, it reaches the floor. Every single time, without exception. This has been true for the entire history of water. But in the Peppa Pig world, water makes an attempt, loses confidence somewhere around the halfway point, and gives up. And the show treats this as completely normal. Then there is the house itself. And I want to give this the time it deserves because the house is one of the most architecturally impossible structures ever committed to animation. From the outside, every establishing shot of the Pig family home shows a building that appears to be one room wide. One room wide. And yet inside that building, there is a kitchen, a living room, a hallway, a staircase, multiple bedrooms, and apparently some kind of spatial anomaly that allows rooms to exist where the exterior walls clearly show there is no space for them. In one episode, there is a door that faces the street. There is sky visible through the window right beside it. Everything about this door says, "Open me and you will be outside." And behind this door is a room with stairs, an interior room, fully enclosed, leading to more house. The outside-facing door leads further inside. The house is consuming itself, and nobody who lives there has ever once looked at this door and said, "That is strange," because to them, it is not strange. It is Tuesday, and while we are inside this impossible house, let us talk about the kitchen jug. There is a jug that lives on the kitchen counter. It is always full. You can watch Mommy Pig pour from it in one scene, and in the very next shot, the level has not changed. She poured. The jug remained full. Episode after episode, scene after scene, that jug sits on the counter, completely full, absolutely refusing to be emptied. Whatever is inside that jug is not subject to the rules that govern normal liquids. It cannot be depleted. It is permanent. It is infinite. And right beside it, in one episode, Daddy Pig produces a spoon from nowhere to stir the jelly. No drawer was opened, no cupboard was accessed. He needed a spoon, and a spoon appeared in his hand. Just like that. As if the kitchen understood what he needed and quietly provided it. The house is alive, and it provides for those who live in it. That is the only explanation that makes any sense at all. The supermarket episode is something else entirely. When the family arrives at the shop, the vegetable racks near the entrance are arranged in such a way that there is no possible angle from which a shopper could actually reach them. They face the wrong direction. They are angled away from the aisle. They are, functionally, decorative. They are vegetables for looking at, not vegetables for buying. And then Daddy Pig picks up a large shopping cart, a full, proper, family-sized supermarket trolley, for what turns out to be one small packet of jelly. That is the entire shopping list. One item, in the biggest cart available. But nothing in this episode comes close to what you find when you look at the shelves. If you compare the products on the shelves at the front of the store with the products further in, you will notice they are identical. Not similar, identical. The same items in the same arrangement repeated across every single shelf in the entire shop. The animators drew the products once and then copied and pasted them onto every shelf in the building, which means this supermarket sells exactly one thing. Whatever that thing is. On every shelf. In every aisle. As far as the eye can see. And nobody in that shop has ever looked around and thought, there is something a bit off about the product variety in here. And then there is George. Sweet, simple George, who throughout the entire run of this show says exactly one word, dinosaur. That is it. That is George's vocabulary. One word, one passion, complete and total consistency. It is treated as a cute character trait. George loves dinosaurs. George says dinosaur. George is small and uncomplicated, and we love him for it. Except, in the hide-and-seek episode, Daddy Pig calls out to George from across the room, and George responds. Not with dinosaur, with a full sentence. Clear, grammatically correct, unprompted, just out there in the world, delivered casually, as if George has been talking this whole time and simply chose not to. And then the episode continues. Peppa does not spin around. Daddy Pig does not freeze. Nobody acknowledges that the child who has said one word his entire life just produced a complete sentence. The show just moves on, which means one of two things is true. Either the writers forgot who George was for 30 seconds, or George has always been able to talk, and he decided very early on, after carefully observing the world he was born into, the shaking floors, the vanishing water, the door that goes further inside the house, the supermarket that sells one product, that the wisest thing he could do was say as little as possible. And honestly, looking at everything we have just gone through together, George might be the smartest character in this entire show. Here is what I keep coming back to though. All of these mistakes, every single one of them. The physics, the house, the jug, the supermarket, George and his suspiciously convenient silence. None of it has stopped this show from being one of the most watched programs in the history of children's television. Kids do not care about the potato. They are not clocking the stabilizer on that bike. They are not lying awake at night wondering what is really behind that door. They just love Peppa. They love the snorting and the muddy puddles and the way every episode ends with everyone laughing even when nothing particularly funny has happened. And sitting here, having just spent the last 12 minutes cataloging every impossible, inexplicable, structurally unsound moment this show has ever produced, I find that genuinely moving. The mistakes are everywhere. The world makes no sense. The house is impossible. The jug never empties. And none of it matters even slightly, because Peppa Pig was never really about any of that. It was about a family and a puddle and jumping in it together, and they always got that part right.